The BBC is not fit for purpose. Yes, the BBC is not fit for purpose. Hugh Edwards has appeared in court yesterday of possessing images that he should not have been having. He's been caught with vile images of, let's just say, children. What a sick mind he has. How can these people view such horrible things? Yeah. I mean, he's pleaded guilty anyway. I mean, when he arrived in court yesterday morning, didn't he have a smug look on his face? No wonder he's one of the highest paid presenters on BBC News. Well, I'm afraid to say his career is now over. He deserves to go to jail for this. I mean, the BBC, like I said, the BBC is not fit for purpose. They've covered up this. They knew about it last November when the Sun newspaper ran a story about him. I mean, the BBC, they are good of covering up. I mean, look at Jimmy Savile, Ralph Harris and Stuart Hall. That was all caught viewing expletive images of children. I mean, Jimmy Savile was the worst offender of them all. He should have definitely gone to jail, but the BBC covered up for them, same as Ralph Harris and Stuart Hall. The BBC, well, they should be shut down. They should be shut down. The BBC should be shut down. They serve no purpose whatsoever. They just, well, far too many times this has happened, and I don't know how the BBC get away with this like they do, but they keep getting away with it. No wonder people are not watching the BBC anymore and not bothering with a licence fee. The BBC is just absolute trash. I mean, what good are the BBC? They're not good for anything. It's time that the BBC were taken off the air. I mean, we have to pay get a licence just to watch it. It's any wonder people are not watching the BBC anymore, because they don't deserve to have viewers after what's been going on. I mean, they're stars like the likes of Hugh Edwards and Gary Lineker. Look how much they make. Well, you can forget Hugh Edwards now. His career is well and truly over with. But Gary Lineker, what does he bring to the BBC? He doesn't bring anything. All he does is get involved in politics and tweets out. He's on Twitter more times than he's on the BBC. It's any wonder that nobody watches Match of the Day anymore when he's on. I mean, two former BBC news presenters, Emily Mathis, her name is, and John. Well, I don't know his name, but the other one, they both sided with Hugh Edwards and they said how what a wonderful man he is, and we are friends, and we'll stick together. Well, isn't it funny how they've gone quiet? How they haven't said anything yet about it. They're usually tweeting now, saying something, having something to say, but they've gone very quiet, and the rest of them on the BBC have also gone quiet, the likes of Gary Lineker and all the others. They've gone very quiet who supported Hugh Edwards. But like I said, his career is now over. They said he has mental health problems. Well, that's his own fault. He shouldn't have been looking at these images. He wouldn't have had a mental health problem then, would he? He's brought all this on himself, and, well, he deserves to go to jail, which I think he will for this. But we'll just have to wait and see. He's admitted his guilt, which some don't usually admit their guilt, but they have to in the end, and they deserve everything they get. I mean, like I said, the BBC, I don't know what's gone wrong with the BBC. They never used to be like this. I mean, you could trust the BBC and their news coverage, but now you can't. You can't trust them. I don't know. I mean, I just wish that they would get rid of scrap the TV licence, but Starmer says he won't. So that says it all, doesn't it? Keir Starmer, who loves the BBC and everything about them, because we all know what a bunch of lefties they are, and how woke they are, and they say the most horrible things against people who, especially when we voted to leave the EU. The poor old BBC, they didn't know whether that was coming or going when we voted to leave the EU. Oh, there was outcry from them. They said the ones who voted to leave the EU were bigots and racists. And if you are against migrants from coming into the country, the BBC, like I've just said, call you racists for daring to object to them coming to the country. But that's the BBC. They used to be respected around the world, but they are not anymore. Something's got to happen to them. I mean, there's a meeting today between the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, and the director of the BBC, Hugh Edwards. I'm going to be me, and I think it's time that the government lay some laws out, read the riot act to the BBC, and told them they've got to change their ways, or there'll be no future for the BBC. Though this rate, I mean, who watches the BBC anyway? I know that at the moment they've got the Olympics on, but when that's over, what else have we got to watch on the BBC? Nothing. There's not. They've stopped making good programmes like they used to many years ago. I mean, they don't know how to make any comedy programmes anymore, like they used to, likes of Dad's Army and It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, and all the others that used to be on the BBC. That's all gone. All that. Don't get me started about It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, because that That would never be allowed to be made again, this day and age. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Mr. Politics signing off, and I'll see you all again in another one.